When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things. It's a catalyst for action. To put in the work. To keep trying. It's a challenge. To be smarter and stronger. Charge on. It drives us to be more. To get after it every day. It's time to rise above. To let them know we're coming. Charge on. Charge on.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Research, Recovery, and Reskill webinar. This is number 7 in our webinar series, and today we'll be focusing on personal branding strategies in an adverse environment. I'm Susan Vernon Devlin, Manager of Communications and Marketing for Rosen College of Hospitality Management, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. First, a little bit of housekeeping. We will not be using the chat feature during this webinar, just the question and answer feature. So if you have questions and comments, please place them there throughout the presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will be getting to your questions and your comments. If you ask a question that is similar to another person's question, we may skip your question. If we don't have time to respond to your question during the time allotted to us, rest assured that we will contact you after the webinar and respond to your question. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the Dean of the Rosen College of Hospitality Management, Dr. Yucheng Wang, to introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Wang?
Thank you very much, Susan. Well, good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. And greetings from UCF Rosen College. Today is August 7th, 2020. It's a Friday afternoon. And thank you all for joining us today for the 7th in a series of webinars offered by UCF Rosen College of Hospitality Management. These webinars are designed to help UCF graduates for the changes we are anticipating as the hospitality and tourism industry emerges from the effects of the COVID-19 virus. My name is Dr. Yucheng Wang, and I'm the Dean of the UCF Rosen College of Hospitality Management. Our mission here at UCF Rosen College is to develop the future leaders of the hospitality industry. And that does not stop after you graduate. As part of the UCF family and the leaders in the industry, we are a resource for each of you as you develop in your careers, especially now as our industry faces so many challenges. And now I would like to invite my colleague, Michael Terry, to take over the Rosen College Hospitality Research Recovery and the Reskill webinar series. The topic is personal branding strategies in the adverse business environment. So obviously, this is a topic probably every one of us needs. So thank you very much, Doug. So please take over and enjoy your presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you've had a chance to listen to some of these webinars over the last 2.5 months, I hope you have, then you've enjoyed some very in-depth research into some of the HR strategies, travel and tourism trends, technology, financial implications, which have been strong. But we're moving away from that today. No X's and O's and 1s, 2s, 3s, not a lot of statistics, not a lot of graphs. Today is about something different. Not so much about the research and recovery, but it's more about the reskilling. Re-imaging, repositioning, refreshing, rebranding of not the shareholders, not the owners of these, not the C-suite, not the associates, not your colleagues for that matter, not even the markets, not the guests. This is all about you, reskilling you and preparing you for the future here. And whether you're a manager, potential manager, whether you're a wannabe manager, an entrepreneur, an owner, an operator, as the case may be. I wonder how much time you spent asking yourself whether you are prepared for coming out the other end of this foggy tunnel in 21, 22, this post-COVID craziness, and how are you going to reimagine yourself to be the best possible you, given this crazy, unpredictable, but temporary black swamp? How do you put yourself in a position to create a competitive advantage, not only to survive, but to thrive? Bring the screen up here. Hi, Doc Terry. As a third-generation hotelier and restaurateur, I teach the upper level classes here at the Rosen College of Hospitality Management, and particularly branding, entrepreneurship, development. And so I get deep into hotels and food and beverage and events. I'm a third-generation hotelier and restaurateur, and spent 10 years general manager with Hilton Hotels, 10 years as the general manager for Intercontinental Hotel Group and their corporate side. And then I speak around the world for the American Hotel and Lodging Association for the last 20 years, National Restaurant Association for the last 20 years. And I spent a few years as a consultant in Chicago, working for IBA, IPA, and we traveled the country and in Canada, talking to small, medium enterprises, SMEs as we call them. And one of the tenets became incredibly clear to us, and that is that if you're not adjusting your skills, your knowledge, and your attitudes and your aptitudes, then you're falling behind. If your brand isn't fresh and refreshed on a regular basis to be relevant, then you're sinking. If you're not continuously upgrading the tools that are in your box, then you're losing your competitive edge. And today we want to talk about that, what you've got in your box and how you keep competitive. Message today, it's based on a lot of reviews, interviews, webinars, discussions, and other background to people that are in the same position as you, and more importantly, others who have been in the position that you are in. Let's take a look at the overview here. We're going to quickly move through the early stages of COVID-19 and where it peaked and the 6 months of doom and gloom that we all saw, and we're going to explore the recent projections that maybe some of you have seen, but I'll share with you some more update information and some of the sage views that are out there. But we're going to spend a lot of time on what the stakeholders are looking for and the challenges and demands that they have moving forward, because let's face it, they all look at you in your position, whether you're working, not working, furloughed, in between jobs, or in a management position, looking for a job. These owners are in their business environment and they look at it in one way. Guests of all segments, I don't care whether it's group or individual or commercial or leisure, they look at it another way. Associates, they look at it in a different way, and depending on what level they are. All things considered. So what I'm saying is here, in context of the three things above here, how are you going to position yourself or brand yourself to succeed when others aren't? So we'll look at the next generation needs. We'll assess what you have, and then we'll talk about how you can refresh your skills, knowledge, and your aptitudes and abilities. It's all about branding you, ladies and gentlemen. Quickly here, it was February 29th, as a matter of fact. Leap year, February 29th, 2020 here. Steady, anxious economy, life was good, record numbers, occupancies, average daily rates, covers, check averages, passengers, theme park attendance, events, airlines, passengers, cruise passengers. Life was wonderful. Leisure flourished, commercial was steamrolling, life was good. It seemed like there was a lifestyle hotel brand every month coming out. Well, as a matter of fact, there just about was a lifestyle hotel brand coming out every month. And the vacation rental market was incredible. In fact, they were, of course, threatening the hotels at that point in time, if you recall, and they were just booming. Restaurant sales were the best they've been in forever, right? Forever. Unemployment was down very, very low numbers. Interest rates, very, very low numbers. Dow was shooting towards 30,000. S&P had already eclipsed 3,000, and the OPEC, well, wherever they were, depending on what country was doing what with the other country. But we on Main Street enjoyed the gas prices as they moved from almost $4 a couple of years ago to, in some places, almost $1. And while it didn't help Wall Street much, it sure did a great deal for us on Main Street, didn't it? China and US, of course, were in their turf wars, tariff wars, whatever you want to call those, and suppliers around the world were white-knuckled waiting for, was it their chance in the Far East or in the United States. Farmers had so much food they didn't know what to do with it to get it out to market, and the multinational companies were happy puppies at that point in time. What were the three high topics? Three top topics: immigration, health costs, money for education, work readiness programs. Life was good February 29th of this year. Oops, not so fun, right? A lot of confusion. The next week it started, and shock and mistrust of one country and the other country, mistrust of one state and the other one. I was going to go up to see my sister here in Ohio in a couple of weeks. It looks like I'm not going to be able to do that. They don't trust me up there because I'm from Florida. So a few of us started wearing some masks and some gloves, and some people got infected, but we really didn't know what we were to expect from that. And so, unfortunately, some people passed, and protests were happening skewed towards from racial to gender to income level, and of course the pandemic set in, and as the months went on, businesses crumbled, and many of them did, as did unemployment, and people became very concerned about their isophobia, and then we started to cocoon, staying in home and ordering our food and not getting haircuts and all those kinds of things. And anyway, permanent unemployment was up. Restaurant spending was just the lowest in over 40 years, and hotels closing, restaurants closing, many of them not going to be opening again. Government certainly did what they could and sent out checks to a whole lot of people out there. But nonetheless, 8 million furloughed, and air passengers hurting, and year over year really, really hurting. When air hurts, then travel and tourism hurts. And the hotel business and the restaurant business in particular were in triage, much like they are in a hospital where you've got, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We got to get a trinket on this, or your bloodletting is happening here, and we better take care of it no matter what it takes. Yet some of the big money were sitting there, they could smell it in the water, and there were big concerns about the little guy and the middle guy, about what was going to happen later on this year and early next year. Restaurants, of course, business down unless you were a takeout. Hotel occupancy 30%. That's across the country here. That doesn't count some group hotels that are down maybe half that percent. And Airbnb, oops, different world now. And so in a number of cases, they decided to go, instead of short term, they moved to long term, as a matter of fact, and converted their model, didn't they? But certainly Chapter 11 is up uncomfortably, and a little bit of a job losses there, right? And unfortunately, we like to be number one in our industry in some things, but certainly not here. And in leisure and hospitality, more payroll losses there than the next three of them put together. You know, it was sad. It was a sad situation at that point in time. And this is what it looked like, and we all know it, and we felt it. And whether we're personally or professionally, we felt that. Well, what about moving forward? What about today, and what about moving forward? Well, what about it? Good guess, right? Depending on who you talk to. We're up, we're down, we're even, we're 2.0 here. Countries in recession, including ours, by the way. And lenders are looking at hospitality under a microscope. I've been through this one or two or three other times, and when you're sending checks to lenders and the economy is good, they're loving it. You don't hear from them. Sometimes for years, you don't hear from your lenders. But when the economy goes south, all of a sudden, things that you've been doing in the past, why are you doing this and why that? And the ants at the picnic coming in with auditors and so forth. And so they're saying not so fast, hospitality people. Don't expect a lot in the way of equity moving forward, at least in the short term here. and they've tightened up on their underwriting criteria, and they're looking for their payments. And they're going to be pleasant for a while, but may not be so pleasant here as we get into the fall, maybe the first of the year here, not so forgiving. And the smaller independent hotels, something to be aware of. The small independent restaurants, something to be aware of, and events, etc. Okay, good news, bad news. Morgan Stanley said, V-shaped, this was 6 weeks ago, V-shaped recovery, positive data, we're going to be there. Whoop, then maybe it went, maybe a little bit of a U-shaped recovery, but don't worry, we'll be there very soon. Well, maybe it's an elongated U-shaped recovery, not so fast. Fed's saying next year, 4.5%, 5% GDP. Year after that, 3.5. Rich Karlgaard, in case you're not familiar with him, he's an international futurist. And he questions, on the other side, he questions this whole teleconferencing and virtual entertainment and e-commerce and all of that, and says, you know what, people love to travel. People love to join other people. That's just the way human beings are made. And so he sees it in a whole different light, that we will come out of this. Let's look at what's happened in the past when we've had some crises like we've had in the last 6 months. Post 9/11, it was 3.5 years before revenues returned in hotels. 6.5 years before we were back to the profit levels of 9/11. In our great financial crisis here, just 12 years ago, revenues 4 years, many more years to come back to profits. So big impact on hotel profitability, and really it's 13 years to get back to where we were, and now we'll see what's happening again. Who are the winners? Well, as we do start to come back, and we'll start to come back, it's going to be drive before it's going to be fly, isn't it? I mean, we see now these RV, B&B, if any of you are into RVs, you know that, where you're going to borrow some. This is the sharing economy again, all over again, right? The domestic vacation ownership, some know as timeshare vacation ownership, that is, they have not been hit quite as hard as hotels, and we'll see a little more comeback there, not so much international. Groceries, as we well know, packaged goods, boy, are they doing well. Life is good in the grocery supermarket business these days. To-go business is good. Legal business, for obvious reasons, will be good for many, many years. Not necessarily good for us, but good for their business. Real estate, conversion, because we're all getting used to this, right? And I don't care what age you are or what industry you're in, we're getting used to this virtual, and it's going to happen. And and in many industries, you're going to go back to the office 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, 1 day a week, once a month. It's going to happen, yes. And auto repair, no, Netflix didn't mention that, of course. We're doing pretty well. They've got us watching them all the time here. Auto repair business, right? New car sales are going to be down, used car sales up, again, for a lot of obvious reasons, because of the decimated economy for many of us. And but auto repair, garages, good for them. IT, artificial intelligence, robotics, green economy, a real green economy all the way around. And wellness. These businesses are going to very well moving forward. So I want to think about this and how much of your brain you're spending on this item, this particular item. You know, it's different than Facebook, right? Different than PowerPoint, different than Zoom. This is all about the future of, and believe me, in our industry, this will be the future of. I happen to be a member of the World Future Society, and we spend a lot of time talking about these items. The green economy. Yes, this isn't just about sustainability. This is all about chemicals and foods and whole lifestyle that we're involved here, and wellness as far as that goes. Well, let's take a look at another phenomena here. It was just a couple of months ago, and here was YouTube videos from the CEOs and the cheeses up there in the C-suite. Just hold on for a few more months. We'll be fine. We're going to come out of this in Q3, Q4. You know, happy days are here again. Skies above blue again. Not so fast, right? 50% of our livelihoods. I mean, problems and problems, and particularly the SMEs, as I mentioned earlier, the small and medium-sized. Many of those are going to be gone, and our habits are changing, and which is what we want to get to here in just a minute about habits changing. And commercial and leisure travel, both of them can do a certain amount of virtual, particularly commercial, and we know that's been hurting, and we know groups are going to hurt for a while until we're back. Back what? Okay, it's a little doomy and gloomy. There's a little gray. Okay, there's a lot of gray. Okay, fine. It's not the apocalypse now. It's not that. Let's remember, the sun will come up, whether that's in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, the sun will come up. And as a matter of fact, as of 4 hours ago, great news here for leisure and hospitality. Unemployment up almost 600,000 jobs in July, ladies and gentlemen. Food and, in addition to that, food and drink industry up 500,000. Yay for us. So this too shall pass. Might pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass. And we will come out of this on the other end stronger and better than ever. Okay, when we do, and that's the crux of this presentation. When we come out of this, where will you be? How will you have positioned yourself? Now, like in any good branding process, we're always looking at your audience. What are they about? What are they thinking? What's going through their head? Geographics, demographics, psychographics, behavioral, lifestyle, and on and on and on. Let's take a look at that for a minute. Let's look at through the lens of the owner of the business. A view from the top, from the owner. Little scared, little nervous. I work with many management companies in hotels over the last several months. And believe me, I don't care how big they are, they're nervous. Particularly if they're not franchised restaurants or hotels. And they're impatient, and money is moving through out of their bank account very quickly. And so they're becoming very frugal. Keep this in mind, if you will, as we talk here later about reskilling and mind bending yourself. Trust is important. Trust is important for who they're dealing with, and trust is important when they're dealing with you and the guest, because the guests are hesitant to rent or dine or cruise or anything. Countries are shunning the tourists. States are shunning the tourists. Neighborhoods, families are shunning. We can't even see our own grandkids there without mask if we're lucky, yes? And so the owner wants to hear from you and wants you to share your management skills with transparency, authenticity, and accountability, because it's all about trust when these guests come back, and they'll be back. Intentional change theory, I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but let me suggest very strongly that you become familiar with that. Intentional change theory, gentleman, and just pull it up one time, and this gentleman is all about what you need to do to move yourself from where you are today to what you visualize yourself in the future. Take a look at that. Coaching with compassion and catalyzing your crew. You're right here in the middle of it all, right? You're as a middle manager, if you will, or as a manager, if you will, or a would-be, you're there representing the owner, representing associates, right in the middle, and everyone is looking to you to be the glue in the operation. Imaginative thinking. You've got to adapt and build the trust with the guests that are coming in. Creating a differentiated guest experiences. Got to have make some decisions. Is it going to be for the convenience of the guest? Is it for the quality engagement? Is it how fast we're going to do this, or can we be consistent in our execution? Is it rate integrity, or is it cash in our pockets? Some owners are going to take one side of that argument, and some are going to take the other. Is it social entrepreneurship, where so many companies are moving today? Great opportunity, particularly for this inequality and equity that's going on right now, is minority-owned businesses as supply sources. Right? Hopefully here in the United States. Makes a lot of sense. Owners, frustrated. Is this going to happen again? What about contingencies? Second wave. And they need tech-savvy people. Again, this is serious tech-savvy, and this is in Google. we're talking about here about virtual, augmented reality, robotics, artificial intelligence. How can we predict, and it can be, insurance companies use this all the time. How do we predict the data that might be able to at least give us a jump on business disruptions and interruptions moving forward, business trends, shifting guest needs, and metrics and analytics. If that's not your strength, you'll probably need to work on that a little bit. We're going to talk about later about how you might want to work on that, because, and then particularly, first of all, supply chains are going to change, right? They're going to change. And number two, risk mitigation, contingency planning moves up huge in a business. We don't hear that very much. We haven't over many, many years. But now it's becoming a very high priority. And you'll see more and more of that in businesses, somebody risk mitigation, contingency planning. So tech savvy, take a hard look at that. Supply chains, big business. We were offering a few of those courses at Rosen College, and none too soon. Risk mitigation, contingency planning, important stuff. High priorities moving forward. How does the guest look at this through their lens, through their escape, right? What do they want? They want comfort, they want health, they want safety, of course, but they also want reassurance here. Their income has been stymied, of course. They want to escape into an experience, but they're nervous about that. And you know, they're going to be unsure. There's no question about that. So it's time for you to reassure them that they're in the right place. And it's going to take some experimentation. It is. Nobody has those answers. I don't care who you are. You don't have those answers till this starts to happen. And so the best we can do is refresh an experience, monitor that, validate it. Is that right? Is it wrong? Adjust accordingly. This is not a set it and forget it time. This is a time for us to talk to all the stakeholders in your business, make sure everybody's on board, re-educate daily as to what is happening, how you're adapting. And then, of course, it's a lot about authenticism and transparent engagement here with the guests and with your stakeholders, contact or otherwise. Industrial hygienist. I don't think we use that term very often in our business for many, many years, if ever, right? So this is all about clean and green. Marriott's certainly coming out with their campaign. Hilton's coming out with their campaign. You may want to tie in your local health department, medical department nearby, endorsements, certifications, or certainly support there that you can share with guests and employees and stakeholders. Daily newsletters to keep people up to date. Rotating average checkout. You've seen some of these things before. Personal pods in the restaurants and the bars. So we've seen some of that. Industrial hygienist, something to think about, right? Get that question from students over the last few months and from those who were in the business world the last few months. Are there other opportunities other than the norm and the huge? And there are. Okay, let's move on to another part of the Audience 360, and that is these sometimes forgotten, cocooning, vulnerable, confused, unhappy, broke in many cases, defaulting on loans. They foresee there are going to be less jobs available over time. Haven't been working for a long period of time. They're going to be coming back to work, right? 600,000 jobs in July, 500,000 food and beverage jobs in July. They're coming back. And they have concerns, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, about the guest hygiene. Not only their own, but it's the guests. I mean, they're cleaning the guests' premises, right? Whether it's in a restaurant, or whether it's in timeshare, or whether it's in a hotel, or whether it's events, or whatever that happens to be, sporting events, all of those, there's a concern there. And so let's understand that that's what's going through their mind here and have some empathy. And you need to be the person to do that, because you're going to be communicating with these previously furloughed or laid off, and you've got to show the concern and support here in this inequality, because we know it's struck, right? It struck from a racism point of view, it's stuck. From a gender point of view, it's struck. From an income point of view, really, really hurt those three very, very hard. And obviously closed some businesses. So there's a company out in California, out west, called Montage, and a hotel company. And this was in April, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, long time ago when this first started. Congratulations to Montage. They were providing family meals and care packets for their associates who they had furloughed or laid off, provided weekly newsletters, tips and financing help. I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? That's what we're talking about. Innovation, taking care of, doing the right thing. Leaders step up their game. They're you know, this is your time to step up and organize and pep rallies and time building or team building here with lots of engagement. You're an educator. You're a teacher a certain way. You're certainly an educator of the new culture, the new core values and performance. And it's a crisis intervention strategies for these at-risk workers. And the point here is to understand where their head is and how they're looking at it. And so if we're able to enhance our talent strategies, then we can become the employer of choice where you are working. And you will be very valuable if you're able to do that to all stakeholders. Crisis intervention strategies. Okay, so here's our 360. We've got owners, we've got guests, we've got associates. You see it the same, but not exactly, right? The number one thing you can do, for your career, for yourself, for the stakeholders, for the industry, is emotional intelligence, EI, EQ. These uncertain stakeholders are looking for direction. And yes, you can be that. You're the wedge in the middle here that can make that happen. And keep control of your emotions, understand their emotions, and exceed that empathy that's needed. You know, you're part neuroscience, you're part psychology, you're part human resource, you're part leadership, you're part coach, you're part teacher, you're part all of those. Compassion and cooperative behavior is what that is. And so you're in a position to identify your triggers and their triggers and overcome any distrust that the owners have, the guests have, the associates have, your colleagues have, life stressors, self-esteem, all of these things that you can set the model for and help them and encourage them and coach them. And assure the stakeholders of a safe, hygienic, transparent, but candid. You know, this is being realistic also. We need to keep that in mind and exude that strength of character that you have and show them that and your style and your substance and through your brand filter and stay the course. I'll talk about your brand a little bit more here in a minute, but your brand and your filter is really key. EI, EQ, EI, EQ, thank you. Assess your great leader brand positioning here and your needs in the market here. It doesn't just happen. Brands don't just happen, as we'll talk about in a few minutes here. It takes strategy and it takes execution. And you have a brand, whether you do anything about it or not, as I talk about with so many companies and advise these companies that whether you have a brand, whether you tell somebody or not, they have an impression about you. They have an impression of what you do and how you do and why you do. So intentionally or not, you have a brand. But be intentional about your brand. Why is it important? Well, it's important because there have been some closings. Yes, there have. From a slow recovery. Yes, it will. But they need the best of the best and quality talent. That's you. There are fewer jobs available, yes. But those who rise to the top with better salary because you're a better quality person. You're more valuable to them. Great career opportunity. Now is a great career opportunity to be what you've always wanted to be, the best you always wanted to be of yourself. You can jump ahead of the others. And believe me, mentors and owners are going to be eager to help you out. So this whole new world, it's awareness and new positioning for yourself. How do I do that? Well, what is a brand? Well, what are you talking about, Doc? A brand is not what you think it is, as we talk about all the time. A brand is what they think it is. Right? Every company, it's that. It's the gut feel of others. What is said when you're not away, right? When you're away, what is said behind your back. That's what it is. Do you know what your brand is? Because you're going to need to know what it is and what it needs to be as you adjust for tomorrow's travel and tourism needs over the next few years. So you need to get some objective feedback of what others think of you. And that's a fair question. Family, friends, mentors, colleagues, staff, that's a fair question to you to ask. So externally and internal. Let's look at external in this discovery, this self-discovery here. Ask them, how do you come across to them? Your style, your delivery, your timing, your consistency, your energy, da, 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 da. What is your USP, as we talk about in the branding world with all the companies that we deal with here in hospitality? What are your best skills, knowledge, aptitudes, abilities, attitudes, and what are they not? What are your not best ones, right? Are you transparent? Are you adaptable, passionate, authenticity? Is that you or isn't it? Get some honest feedback. And I think if you ask somebody honest, they'll give you an honest answer if you position it right. What are your strengths, super strengths? And again, what are your gaps and valleys or your improvement areas? That will tell you what your brand is. You don't know. They will tell you what it is. What it's said and when you are away. But you can look internally. Certainly there's self-discovery there also. And dial in your personal brand strategy and how you need to refresh that. There are some things you do know. And you can grade yourself on, and I strongly suggest you do so. Your social abilities, your analytic and metrics that we talked about a little bit earlier, your leadership when it comes to EQ, EI, how well you communicate, vocabulary that you use, your self-confidence. All of these things are important in your literacy and your patience, your follow-up skills. And what are your differentiators from someone else, especially your core competencies, innovativeness? How good of a coach, teacher are you, right? There's leadership, there's management, and then there's coaching. Make people better. Are you a jack of all trades, or are you going to be a king or queen of none? Are you going to be, what's the case? Or one. Or are you going to be the king and queen of one? So self-define yourself. What suits you, what excites you, what makes you happy. And then spend it there the rest of your life and do the best possible work. So self-branding is a must-do. Self-branding is a must-do. And asking the three most important questions in branding that every company asks, and every athlete and every entertainment personality asks the same one. And you should be able to answer this question in the elevator in 15 seconds or in your interview. Who are you really? What do you really, really do? And why does it matter to them who you are and what you do? Why should they pick you over someone else? Three magic questions we're always asking branding. Who are you really? What do you really do for them? And why does it matter? And what you do, you write down a priority list. Some timetables here. You don't just think about it. We put it on paper. So what's a path to achieving what you establish as some of your goals? Find good mentors. Good, strong mentors. Stronger than you, smarter than you, better than you. Find the good guys and the good ladies and the good gentlemen. Attend webinars, virtually. Check out health news to keep yourself there. Publications, ebooks, education. I mean, this is all education courses here. I don't care whether it's, hopefully it's at Rosen College Hospitality Management. Hopefully it's at UCF. Maybe it's MOOCs. Maybe, if it's a last resort. You can't afford anything else. Look for coaches. If you're weak on numbers, talk to some controllers. You need work on your people skills, HR, executive chefs, IT specialists. These are appeal to their ego on this. I'll be happy to help you. But it's important for you to take some time to think this through and establish the goals, set up the priorities, be realistic on your timetables and follow through. You gotta take the time to do that. What's going to happen when I come out of this tunnel in 6 months, 18 months, 24 months? And then strategize your personal brand infrastructure. So start to finish this up here. Health, wealth, happy. Isn't that what we all want? We all want these three things. And so you need to assess your gestalt, your DNA, as to how you achieve these three things. And research proves that successful leaders establish a regimented daily routine to make this happen. Maximize your brand and rebrand. You got to proact in a routine, in a strategic routine. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a CEO of a company or you're somebody on the front line. It needs to be done mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, academically. This will provide a guaranteed competitive edge in this new normal that we're going to eventually arrive. Successful engine, daily routine. Your engine going here, how? Wellness, head wellness, news, views. Use your brain here and learn, right? Constantly grow every day. Skift is a great one. The Price Waterhouse is great also. And depending on where you skew in the industry, any one of these New York Times or Wall Street or BBC, get your head out of local and spend a little time on regional, national, international. World Future Society is great. These aren't a bunch of nutheads. These are people that think ahead. Or EMM, European news, Quartz news, international news. Keeps you ahead of the game. Head wellness. Second, body wellness. I'm not here to lecture. This is not me. And I'm telling you what I read about leaders who are highly successful. And they're very careful about, particularly when you're in sometimes a downtime. I got to eat, I got a bonbon, I got to this, I got to that, and snacks and so forth and so on. And it can get you down. It can get you down physically and mentally. Don't want to do that. Physically, you want to make sure you're exercising. This just comes from the best of the best leaders that have been through this time or 2 or 3 or 4. And of course, emotional. And yoga is big. Meditation. These are de-stressing. These are things that are making you think and de-stress. Stamina wellness. Get some sleep. Nap. Oh no, I don't need that. Yes, you do. I mean, you talk to any doctor and they'll be able to share that with you. And then financial wellness. Be sure you keep your bills up to date, because credit today, 20 years ago, credit was important, but employers didn't check it. Don't kid yourself. Employers check that. It's absolutely they do. There's not a maybe they do. They do. And they refuse people, particularly if you're in a position of responsibility where you're dealing in $1 million businesses. They think twice before they hire, and in many cases, most cases, they don't. Social wellness here. Mix with people smarter than you. Social media, fine, wonderful. We're all involved with social media. Be very careful and give it the Washington Post test that says, don't put anything in your social media that you don't want in the headlines of the Washington Post tomorrow morning. Employers, check. I know somebody with Hilton Hotels a couple of years ago had to fire 2 huge people in his business. Social media. Huge. I mean, these are regional. I'm not talking about regional. I'm talking about country regional. He had to fire them because of some things they put in social media. And then self-esteem wellness. Get your tapes out. Review TEDs on a regular basis. 7 Habits of Highly Effective and all the other 7 Habits of Highly Effective people. Other books that they have related to that. Magic of Believing. And make sure your personal brand toolkit, that you really got that together consistently. so that what you're telling people is what's on your business cards, in your CV resume, your tagline, your blog, your social network, your profile. It needs to be consistent. It's like calling hotel to make a reservation, and sales tells you this, and the front desk tells you that, and the website says this, and the, you know, consistent front, consistent presentation of who you are and what you are and what you do and who you are and why does it matter. Let's wrap up here. Let's wrap up. It's a paradigm shift, and it's not going to adjust around you. You've got to adjust for it, for this new normal 2.0. What do you do? What do you do? We know the challenges ahead. We know this 360 audience, what they're thinking. We understand their insights. We know the needs in the industry. Good, that's what we know. What should you do? Self-discover. Don't be afraid. Get some good, strong, objective feedback from people outside, and then consider your own inside areas you need to shore up. Let's put it that way. To be the best you can be. Assess you versus the industry needs. Establish priorities. Write them down. Be well in all areas, so you're ready to go. You're ready to rock and roll when this hits. Proact, plan, and prep, right? I mean, your own personal think tank, or you and your advisory team, your family, your friends, I mean, you know, colleagues, people in the industry. And then what this will all do for you is make you a best of show, right? Be your best you. Be your best you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. I'll turn this over to Susan if you're there.
I am. Thank you, Dr. Terry. That was a very insightful presentation. It gave us a lot to think about. So now we're going to turn to your questions. And we actually had a series of questions that were emailed to us earlier today by Rebecca. She's in Australia, so she wanted to make sure she got her questions in so that we would have them for the presentation. Rebecca's first question is, for those who are furloughed or unexpectedly unemployed, what advice do you have on how we can productively use this time?
Well, I mean, you may have to do some gig working from, you know, between now and then, you know, whatever small jobs, whether it's a paid job or a non-paid job, whether it's a social entrepreneurship job that you can build your resume, or whether it's a job that maybe it's an hourly job when you think you should have a management job, number one. And number two is look at every one of these items that I just mentioned over the last 20 minutes here and make sure you are on top of your game to be the very best you.
Thank you, Doc. Another question from Rebecca is, what are our biggest challenges during this time, and what are the opportunities that you see for us?
Yeah, a big challenge is keeping yourself sharp. I remember going through this once before, and there was a fellow who had worked for me in a job as a human resources director, and he came, and I called him specifically and said, we've got an opening. It was a very large hotel with opening. Come on in and see me. He was bummed. He was just bummed. He hadn't been working for 8 or 9 months, and he was, you know, shoulders stooped. I couldn't hire him. You know, you've got to stay up. You've got to keep yourself fresh and smart and sharp and well, and keep looking, yes, and keep yourself also aware of what's going on in the world from a news point of view. Keep your brain smart. So that, you know, you don't know. Tomorrow could be the day that someone calls you for an opportunity there, and so that would be my advice.
Okay, I'm going to go to a question from Arthur now, who says, thank you for the presentation. He wants to know, how should small businesses adapt to this new normal in terms of enhancing their resilience? Yes,
they have to take a long, hard look and they're going to have to adapt. And depending on whether you're a restaurant, hotel, events, whatever it is, you've got to look outside your normal markets, your normal targets, and get out and find out what other companies are doing, and then have a think tank imagination with all of your advisors as to what opportunities are out there for you, and maybe something way different, maybe related industry. I had someone call me a few weeks ago, a former student, as a matter of fact, that up in North Carolina in hotels had an idea that they were going to couple up with a local gym and a local small hotel and convert some of the rooms in the hotel to privatized gyms where people could come in and they had 7 or 8 rooms and they have special equipment they clean every day. It was using imagination, and that was, you know, right or wrong, I thought that was just brilliant that they were thinking outside the box. So it's going to take a lot of that.
That's an interesting concept, huh? Personalized gyms and hotels. We have another question here. You mentioned transferring your skills to different industries. What industries do you think will expand after things begin to return closer to normal or the new normal?
Yes. I mean, for sure, I don't want to send anybody off to another industry. We have a wonderful industry. However, we have real estate in our industry. It is the new normal in real estate is that footprint, that template is going to shrink. It's going to shrink as far as offices are concerned. It's going to shrink as far as restaurants are concerned. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever that we'll see the fast food, let's just call it schmickschmannels company, come up with a 4-lane drive-through. Nobody sits down in the restaurant, and they're going through with the roof over top, and they're just driving through 4 lanes underneath, and food coming at it, et cetera, and 30 seconds or less. There are opportunities are going to be out there. I mean, it happens every single time that we go through this in our history, in our country. Items come up. In this particular case, we're going to see it so much from a virtual point of view. I think that's the biggest one, but also real estate's a big one. Obviously, legal is going to be a big one there, but the to-go, of course, is going to be big. A lot of us, I order my food through Instacart, through Publix, and gee, this is great. I may continue. There'll be a new one coming up there. This time for the share economy. Also, when we come out of it, it's time for the share economy. Yes.
Thank you, Jack. We have a question from Andrew. He wants to know, having worked with multiple managers, what do you classify as a perfect mentor? I'm not sure there is one. What information should we try to gain from their mentorship?
Yes, I mean, this is somebody that needs to have all the pieces in there. It's so important. I don't care what time in your professional life it is, that before you take a job or even thinking about staying with the job, you have to have somebody that has an understanding from the point of view, and that's why we talked a little bit about the insights of everybody that's with them. So many times we hear this term, do the right thing. Do they do the right thing possible for all of the stakeholders involved? I understand they're investing. I understand if you're an owner. I understand if you're an operator for an owner, that you're an agent of that owner. But there's a right way to do things and not. And if you want to build the right reputation, you need to find somebody who has that type of a reputation, who has built that over a number of years, and is a true mentor, coach, who is not the greedy, hardball person, but somebody who cares about people other than themselves, and is a more of a 360 than they are all about themselves. I think that's the best thing I can say.
Okay, this is going to be our last question now, and it's an interesting question for these times. Is it realistic to consider starting a business in such uncertain times?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to start thinking about that business and preparing for that. I mean, is it going to be January? Is it going to be next June? I think you can test some items over the next few months. I think it's fair to say anybody that's has a strength of business knows that there are going to be lots of physical structures that are likely going to be available as far as restaurants and hotels, where unfortunately some people are going to fail, and they're going to be in these Chapter 11s. There are going to be opportunities out there for you. So that is going to happen. It's just a fact that it's going to happen, and there projections are anywhere between 25 and 35% of businesses, particularly independent businesses that are non-franchised, and many franchised for that matter, are going to go under. It's just a sad fact of life. And I would be thinking about that now, likely in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter, depending on this second wave that's hit the United States a little bit. But I'd give a lot of thought to that. And then given some of the insights we've discussed today, and read where the future is going to be for the new targets and psychographics and demographics and geographics and the needs, and then strike. But I think it is. Maybe we're another 4 or 6 months away before we jump on it, but it's 2021 is going to be a time to do that. Absolutely. But keep yourself strong and keep your credit strong, keep your relationship strong, network. Keep on top of the business world is what opportunities are available. I think that's probably the most important thing you can do.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Terry, for this very wonderful presentation today. There's a lot for us to digest and think about and move forward doing in the future. So that's all the time we have for today's webinar. Our final webinar of this 8-part series will come to you on August 21st. And that webinar will look at mentorship. So those of you who asked about mentorship can join us for that webinar on August the 21st at 11 a.m. And Jessica Wicke and Dr. Carissa Baker will be presenting that at that time. To find out more about our webinars, visit the Rosen College of Hospitality website at hospitality.ucf.edu and check under the Professional Development tab for the Research, Recovery, and Reskill webinars. We've had 7 so far. You can go back and look at presentations. You can click on our YouTube channel and look at the webinars themselves in case you've missed them, or if you just want to refresh what we've talked about over these summer sessions. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us right now today. And also, please do remember that UCF does offer certificate programs for you to enhance your skills as you go forward. And we hope that you'll join us for our next webinar again on August 21st, which will be the last one of the summer series. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.